I'm not really sure what I expected when I first got this wheel, but riding it for 1,000 kilometers, that seems insane now that I'm thinking about it. With 40 plus hours riding this wheel, I'm going to talk about what I think about this EUC and some good and bad things about it. I'm still happy with my decision to buy this wheel 5 months ago. I have rode it from smooth trails that go city to technical mountain bike single track. It really does it all. But let's start the story from the beginning. When the wheel finally arrived, I had no idea how to ride this, which I feel like is the case for most people, but who knows. And I dove headfirst into learning how to ride. Maybe almost taking the diving headfirst part a little too literally. With my excited and impatient self, I ended up practicing a bit in a concrete parking lot, which gave the wheel its first real battle scars and shredding all hope of keeping the wheel nice looking. But with those scratches over with, letting the wheel fall over didn't feel so bad. So speaking on the aspects of reliability, it has been great to me. With me learning how to ride, teaching 3 others how to ride, and learning tricks, this wheel has been a trooper, has taken its fair share of falls, crashes, and spills. But with all this abuse and hard riding so far, it has had no hiccups in performance. You just turn it on and go, every time. With 100 or so kilometers under my belt, I connected to the Inmotion app and turned on the speed limiter from 20 to 25 kilometers an hour. I remember kind of laughing at the little pop-up box that showed up, stating that you should have 3 years of riding experience and to bump the limiter up that high. That extra 5 kilometers an hour did help with the slow factor, but the higher speed still seemed quite limiting. When I was actually commuting on this wheel and trying to get from A to B for the last 800 kilometers, I just ride around with constant tilt back. Knowing the hub motor does not have much more to give, I never push past that, and in so I've never had any nosediving issues. In short, if you're thinking about getting this wheel, you will find yourself reaching and finding this low speed limiting, but I don't think that's the end of the world at all. I made a whole video talking about that. Check out the card in the top right. Moving on, let's talk about the range and how the app/suggested limit is absolute baloney. Claiming a range of 40 kilometers in one charge in real world circumstances is just like impossible. So, midsummer, I set out on a journey to see how far I could go. There was a small town about 13.5 kilometers away. Figuring round trip will be under 30, I didn't have much to worry about. The route consisted mostly of bike trails. All of them were flat, about half of it was paved, the other half was not. Watching my 5 battery lights slowly turn off one by one was definitely nerve-wracking. After about 45 minutes of riding, I got to my destination and enjoyed a cool breeze coming off the lake and hung out for a few. With 3 out of the 5 battery lights still on, I was not too concerned for the out and back mission. That lasted about 10 seconds. As soon as I started riding, another battery light turned off and the range anxiety was real. I didn't know this at the time, but thankfully each battery light is not divided into 5 equal 20% parts. The last 2 lights are fairly generous. I made it back to the far side of town with 1 light to go and limped my way home. But a few blocks away from my house, the last bar started blinking, which I didn't even know was possible at the time, and I made it home with 3% to spare, and the wheel wouldn't even turn back on. The total ended up being 28.35 kilometers. So moral of the story is don't try to go much further than that on this wheel unless you want to walk. And that's a lot less than 40, that's for sure. Even after this monster of a ride, the wheel took under 4 hours to charge back to full. With all the riding I've done on this wheel, I have inevitably been caught out in the dark a number of times. The lights are nothing to write home about. They'll get you where you're going and you can see what you're riding over, but you can't really go super fast, and you do have to be quite cautious. The lights are more others to see you than for you to see, I find. And sometimes they're not even that good at that. So if you have the trolley handle, it covers the rear tail light almost completely, which is not ideal for the whole being seen part. Otherwise, I like the trolley handle. It does the job and gets out of the way when not using it. Except I should mention, when you're riding in poor conditions, the tire sprays all the road goodies all over where you grab the handle, which is just real dandy to grab. On the topic of bling, the cover is a good purchase in my opinion. It has kept the side panels in great shape and keeps the inner portal turret looking well. Now, as more of an experienced rider, I'm going to upgrade soon, but I still think it's a fun wheel to get around on, teach others, practice skills with its light weight of only 11.9 kilograms, and off-road will be my battleground for the future of this wheel. What I have done so far, the tire does surprisingly well on and off-road. However, if you do plan on taking this wheel to off-road, the lower pedal height is something to really watch out for, as it likes to find rocks and dig into the dirt and send you flying. That may or may not be from experience. So if I had to describe this wheel in a few words, I would say it's agile but stable, reliable, and nimble. Every wheel has its positives and negatives, but I think the positives far outweigh the negatives on this wheel, and I think it's an awesome wheel. I really like it. If you're maybe looking into getting this wheel, or you want to find more about it, I have videos on my channel, so check it out. And that's the end of the video. Subscribe if you want to see more, like if you dig, dislike if you didn't, and I'll see you in the next one.